peace and joy of God. That's what prayer's about. I'm not giving him a laundry list. A house of prayer. That's what he wants. We spend time in the presence of God. So he comes into Jerusalem not to address the natural order of things politically. That actually has very little interest in his mind. But what about the needs of people? My God shall supply all of my needs according to his riches and glory. That's what the word says. My God shall supply all my needs according to his riches and glory. That's my emotional needs, my social needs, my financial needs, my physical needs, everything. All of my needs, not some of them. He didn't say, my God shall supply some of my needs. He said all of my needs according to his riches and glory. So, if that's the case, then what's going on politically is irrelevant. It doesn't matter what kind of regime I live in, whether it's democracy, whether it's a dictatorship. It doesn't really matter what it is. My God shall supply all of my needs. But I have to be focused on him. I have to be working in his presence. I have to have that relationship. I have to be in that place of prayer. Paul said we need to pray without ceasing. But how can we do that if we've got a day's work? Because it's about an attitude. When we encounter a problem, do we say, I don't know how to fix this? Do we say, God, I don't know how to fix this and I need some help here. I need some insights. And sometimes you'll say, just leave it for now. And then the solution will come later. Or someone else will come and solve the problem for you. It's like, wow. But God has it under control. All we got to do is just listen instead of trying to control it ourselves. My house shall be called a house of prayer, but you have made it a den of thieves. There's a lot of thieving going on in church today. I hate to say that, as a Christian. But I can say it as a Christian, as a leader in the church. There's a lot of thieving going on. And what am I talking about? I'm not talking about money. Yeah, there's a lot of gimmicks and stuff going on but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about thieving relationship. Deceiving people into thinking if you put something in the offering and you come to church, we've got the bases covered and you don't have to worry about your relationship with Jesus Christ. They're thieving your relationship with Jesus Christ by selling you religion instead of relationship. Christianity is a relationship with Jesus Christ. But there's a lot of salesmen of religion out there. They want to get you all excited, want to get you feeling good about supporting their ministry so you don't have to worry about your relationship with Jesus Christ. They'll have you reading books, they'll have you reading everything but the gospel. Because actually when you get to the source, then you don't need all these people. My house shall be called a house of prayer, but you have made it a den of thieves. And the blind and the lame came to him in the temple, and he healed them. And you know, there's more than just physical healing. There's a lot of emotional and spiritual lameness and blindness. And like Jesus said, some of this can only come out by prayer and fasting. Our job, my wife and mine, is to pray for our congregation. Because most of our spiritual growth is progressive. None of us is standing on the right hand of the Father, so I guess we got some work to do. None of us is walking on water yet, unless it's frozen. So we got some work to do. And he healed them. And when the chief priests and the scribes saw the wonderful things that he did, and the children crying in the temple and saying, Hosanna to the Son of David, they were sore displeased. This is messing up their religion. And he said unto them, here's not what they say. And Jesus said unto them, yea, have you never read? Out of the mouth of babes and sucklings thou hast perfected praise. Actually, it's a slight misquote. It said, out of the mouth of babes and sucklings thou hast ordained strength. Jesus didn't make a mistake. He gave a reinterpretation. People think strength is one thing, but we was talking about the real strength. The real strength we have is praise. Perfected praise is spiritual strength. Why? Because, first of all, it acknowledges who God is.
the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. When you come into a perfect relationship of praise, you come into a perfect relationship with God. And that makes you completely open to receive everything that he has for you. Because you can't praise him as God and you be anything less than the undeserving person that you are. We're all undeserving. We don't deserve it. He doesn't bless us because we deserve it. He doesn't bless us because we earned it. He blesses us because he loves us. And when we can recognize that and acknowledge that, then he's free to bless us. But while we think we're really hot, we're really good, we're really deserving, he can't do anything for us. Out on the mount of babes and sucklings thou hast perfected praise. And he left them, went out of the city to Bethany, and he lodged there. So they were expecting Jesus to come in. He was going to take over from the Romans and from the Jews, and he was just going to fix them all up and put a chicken in every pot. And instead he goes into the temple, upsets everything, and leaves town. It's like, what kind of deal is this? His disciples thought, this is good, this is good, because now he's taking over. But he told them before that, I'm going to suffer, they're going to kill me, they're going to torture me, and they're going to kill me. But they couldn't hear him. He told them repeatedly. He couldn't hear them. They could not hear Jesus. Now the real question is why? Because there is a spiritual deafness that comes on all of us. I've experienced it. My wife's experienced it. Everybody I know has experienced it at some point. You can hear with your ears, but it just doesn't go into your spirit. It's like you heard it, but you didn't hear it. It's like it must be a foreign language because I don't understand it. We don't have to understand it. We don't have to understand it. The only way you can really receive it is to pray and to press into the presence of God, and then you can receive it. Otherwise, you can't hear it. And when you don't hear what God is speaking to you, it's going to cost you. It happened when Jesus was talking to the scribes and the Pharisees. They couldn't hear him. They absolutely couldn't hear him because they were closed to what God had to say. And ultimately, that's why we can't hear God, because we're close to what he's saying. We don't really want to hear him because we're comfortable. And it's what if we listen to what he says, it's going to upset our apple cart. It's going to mess us up. We're going to have to make changes in our lives. It's always better to make the changes. God's giving us a break. And that's our message for Palm Sunday.